Posible. Dahil hindi hadlang ang aking edad para ipagpatuloy ang nahinto kong pangarap.
Posible. Sabi nga ng mga magulang ko, kayang baguhin ng kolehiyo ang buhay ng isang tao.
Posible. Wala nang anumang hadlang. Buo ang loob kong tatapusin ang kolehiyo.
That's why we have made it a priority to make quality education affordable and accessible to all.
Posible.
Tatay ko hirap, nangungutang ng pang-allowance. Kailangan ni nanay na mag-abroad. Nagtatanim-tanim kami ng mga gulay-gulay, ganyan. Tapos binibenta ko naman sa school. Yung test po, siya po yung naging daan para po mas gumaan yung pag-aaral ko. Magiging malaking bahagi po ang test para po makamit ko ang aking mga pangarap na makapagtapos.
Bilang TES grantee, isang napakalaking tulong at oportunidad sa amin or sa akin ito sapagkat itong programang ito ay isang daan para makamit ang mga pangarap ko sa buhay.
Ngayon, buong-buo ang pag-asa ko. Magtatapos ako ng pag-aaral, magkakaroon ng magandang trabaho at aasenso sa buhay. Salamat dahil mayroong tertiary education subsidy.
Naniniwala po ako sa kasabihang life is a path full of efforts. So, kinakailangan po nating magkaroon ng efforts, matinding effort para makamit po yung ating mga pangarap. Dahil naging malaking tulong po ito, hindi lamang po sa akin, kundi sa aking mga magulang na rin po. Dahil sa pangarap ko makapagtapos at matulungan sila, alam ko po matutupad po ito sa tulong po ng TES program. Kaya maraming salamat po.
Lubos po ang aking pasasalamat sa ating kagalang-galang na Pangulo ng Pilipinas, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, sa pagpapatupad niya ng RA 10931 o ang Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education Act. Gayon din po sa Commission on Higher Education at sa UniFAST.
Masaya ako nung makapagtapos ako dahil isa ako sa nagkaroon ng Latin Award nung panahong yun. At dahil dyan, nandito ako ngayon sa Saudi Arabia. Nagtatrabaho bilang isang restaurant staff. At masasabi kong malaki ang nagtutulong nito kasi kung wala yung UniFAST, di ako makakatapos sa pag-aaral at di rin ako mapupunta dito para makapagtrabaho, magkaroon ng kita na makatulong sa aking pamilya at sa future ko.
Nabigyan po ako ng pagkakataon na makapag-aral kahit po mahirap lang kami at kahit po sa hirap ng buhay ay hindi ko naramdaman na naging hadlang ang kakapusan ng pera upang makapagtapos ka ng pag-aaral.
Lagi natin iisipin na hindi hanggang hadlang ang isang kapansanan para di maabot ang isang pangarap.
Noon, isa akong magsasaka. Ako'y nagpursigi sa pag-aaral sa kabila ng aking edad. Nagpapasalamat ako sa tulong ng TES Tertiary Education Subsidy Program ng CHED at hindi na ako nahihirapan sa mga bayarin sa eskwelahan. Ngayon, magtuturo na ako. maibabahagi ko na ang aking kaalaman at pagpapahalaga sa edukasyon.
I was really struggling for financial access in paying my tuition fee in school. Isa din ako nagtatrabaho sa resto bar tuwing 6:30 p.m. to 12 p.m. Nakapagod, nakaantok, ngunit kinakailangan para upang manatili ako sa pag-aaral at mairaos yung sarili ko at pamilya ko sa hirap. Isa ako sa mga natulungan ng UniFAST sa scholarship na binigay ng gobyerno. Naway marami pa pong kagaya ko na matulungan ng gobyerno para makamit nila ang kanilang inaasam-asam na tagumpay.
Dati isa po akong working student. Nakapo sa pera, pambayad sa mga bayarin sa paaralan. Nang dahil sa UniFAST, nabigyan ng liwanag ang aking pag-aaral. Nakapagbayad na po ako ng tuition at iba pa. Maraming salamat talaga sa UniFAST. Ikaw ang tumutulong para maabot ang aking pinapangarap.
Masaya po ako nung nakuha ko yung pera na yun eh. Kasi number 1 po na pili ko po yung pangalaman sa school. Kasi po yung hinihintay ko kasi na scholar na ako. Bibili ko na yung gusto ko. Makakain ko na yung gusto ko. So, sabi ko sa mama ko, happy ko yung pera sa kanya yung iba, sa akin yung iba. So, yung pinangbili ko po ng cellphone, pati mga kailangan ko sa school, yung natira ko, pinagpili ko sa mama.
Isa akong anak magsasaka. Mahirap sa isang magulang ang may pinag-aaral na kolehiyo. Mahirap din sa akin na makita silang naghihirap para sa akin. Ganito lang ang aming tahanan, pero ako nangangarap na makaahon sa ihirap. Pero dahil sa libreng edukasyon, gumagaan yung problema. Nakabili ako ng cellphone at laptop na siyang pangunahing pangangailangan bilang isang online class student. Hindi man nabago ng test ang bahay na ito, pero mababago ng test ang buhay ng maninirahan nito.
Hindi madali ang buhay. Maraming balakid at suliranin.
Nang dahil sa TES na ipagpatuloy ko ang aking edukasyon.
Madaig na salamat. Tulong ng gobyerno garantisado, edukasyon sigurado, solusyon sa kahirapan, itiis mo nang ikaw ay aasenso. Tara na!
Dahil sa hirap ng buhay, napilitan kong magtrabaho sa gabi bilang isang kargador ng gulay at sa umaga na may isang estudyante. Pero ang lahat ng ito ay biglang nagbago dahil sa tulong ng test. Isa ako sa mga napiling beneficiaryo upang mapagpatuloy ko ang aking pag-aaral. Kaya ako ay lubos nagpapasalamat sa kabuturan ng aking puso sa ating pinakamamahal na Pangulo, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, sa oportunidad na kanyang binigay.
ES started when we are still in our third year level. It helped me to comply necessary projects as an education student, and through this, I was able to help my parents in terms of financial problems. All the proponents of ES, thank you for making this possible. TES became a tool to continue education even in times of crisis.
Dahil sa CHED, ang laki ng naitulong nila sa buhay namin. Ng TES, yung na-receive namin. Lagi nang natulong sa amin. Kaya laking pasalamat sa amin.
Good afternoon to everyone present here today. In our press launching of the projects between the Commission on Higher Education and UniFAST with the Film Development Council of the Philippines. I am Kathleen Atienza and I will be your host for today's event. To start our program, we have with us the UniFAST OIC Executive Director, Attorney Ryan Estevez, who is also my boss at the Secretariat. Prior to his designation as the OIC Executive Director, Attorney Estevez served as the Undersecretary of the Presidential Legislative Liaison Office in the House of Representatives. His government stint included serving 2 generations of Senate presidents in this country, starting from the Senator Aquilino Nene Pimentel Jr. and the son, former Senate President Aquilino Coco Pimentel III, and also at the House of Representatives under Bagang Henerasyon Party List Representative Bernadette Herrera D. Attorney Estevez also taught music, religious education, humanities, and law courses in different public and private higher education institutions. May we now call on the OIC Executive Director of UniFAST, Attorney Ryan Estevez, to give us his message.
Thank you very much, Kat. To the Film Development Council of the Philippines, and our very good friend, Chairperson Liza Diño, Executive Director Ria and Rubia, and our partners at the FDCP, to our visionary leader and a TV and radio personality himself, Commission on Higher Education and UniFAST Board Chairperson, Chairman Prospero Popoy de Vera III, also to Commissioners Aldrin Darilag, Dr. Lily de las Llagas, Dr. Ronald Adamat, and Dr. Pekka Libin, to all my colleagues from the commissions, most especially to the CHED Executive Director, Attorney Cinderella Filipina Benitez Haro, and to all our media friends who are present here today. Good afternoon, and let me welcome you to our virtual launching of our 2 projects in partnership with FDCP that are meant to benefit our beneficiaries of free higher education and the tertiary education subsidy programs, including the Tulong Dunong program grantees. I am honored to have these projects since I know that many of our student grantees are interested in creatives, blogging, and filmmaking. As you have seen in the contest and related events we have conducted, where they submitted creative videos of their stories. Recently, we held a test video contest when we celebrated our first ever National Higher Education Day and 27th founding anniversary of the Commission. We had a hard time choosing the winners, since many of them submitted good and creative videos that does not only inspire us, but are really worth to be featured as testimonies on how free higher education has helped transform the lives of the Filipino students and their families as well. The project #MyKwentongUniFAST will develop the skills of our grantees through a series of webinars with various relevant topics to be taught by selected well-known vlogger mentors and speakers. The second project, which is CineIskool, will showcase the stories of empowerment within the community of free higher education beneficiaries by giving each group of participants financial grants and assistance to produce short films. Both of these projects aim to train our grantees to produce quality short films, vlogs, and creatives to inspire more students to take part in the programs of the Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education Act, or RA 10931, and to show the country how our program has greatly improved the lives of our students, their families, the community, and the country. Incidentally, this is also an opportunity for us to hone our new filmmakers for the ever-growing local film industry in the Philippines. We know that there is so much potential in each of our beneficiaries waiting for a chance to be harnessed. CHED UniFAST with FDCP will put this out to the public via blogging site and CineIskool Film Festival, where we will recognize and give awards to selected productions from our students. We are very thankful and even more excited for the opportunity to work with FDCP even during this pandemic. We hope to extend the benefits of UAQTE, or the Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education Act, to more people across the country. And this is a great chance for us to achieve that while enhancing the skills of our beneficiaries, which will come in handy for those of them who are eager to enter the film industry. We hope for the success of these two projects and more partnership with the Film Development Council of the Philippines in the future. Maraming salamat at magandang araw sa ating lahat.
Thank you, Attorney Estevez, for that opening statement. First, let us recognize the people and groups who are here with us today in this virtual launch of our CineIskool and #MyKwentong UniFAST projects. Aside from the officials and staff who are present here from CHED, UniFAST, and FDCP, we are very happy to be joined by our friends from the press and the media pool that we have invited for this occasion. Let me now introduce the proponents of these very exciting partnership. Prior to his appointment to the Commission on Higher Education, he served as Vice President for Public Affairs of the University of the Philippines from 2011 to 2016 and Professor of Public Administration. Now, as CHED Chairman, he steers the governance of all the Board of Regents, trustees of all state universities and colleges, including University of the Philippines and Mindanao State University. And as the UniFAST Board Chairman, he ensures the implementation of the most important social legislation of the Duterte administration, the Universal Access to Quality Education Act, or commonly known as the Free Higher Education Law. Ladies and gentlemen, CHED and UniFAST Board Chairman J. Prospero Popoy de Vera III.
Magandang hapon, Chairperson Liza Diño, ED Ryan Estevez, sa lahat ng mga panauhin natin mula sa Film Development Council of the Philippines, sa ating mga kasama sa CHED at UniFAST, sa mga miyembro ng media na naririto ngayon, maraming salamat for joining us to witness the launching of the two projects between CHED, UniFAST, and FDCP. Actually, this project is way overdue. If I remember, about 2 years ago, Chair Liza and I met in my office and exchange ideas on how we can use the medium of film to further promote the programs of the Duterte administration. At that time, I was very interested and excited to do this because I had projected that we should start training our test beneficiaries, our free higher education beneficiaries, so that towards the end of the Duterte administration, it is their personal experiences and manifestations through film that will validate what we have been doing in CHED and under the Duterte administration for higher education. This year, starting January, I started to go around the country to declare victory for free higher education. The logic of declaring victory is very simple. This year, we are graduating the first batch of students who stopped paying tuition fees in 2017 when the Duterte administration realigned funds so that our students in public universities will be relieved of the burden of looking for funds to pay their education. So that was starting this year. And today, 1.6 million young Filipinos are no longer paying tuition and miscellaneous fees. Another 500,000 are beneficiaries of what is called the tertiary education subsidy, and another 300,000 are beneficiaries of tulong-dunong. So collectively, more than 2 million of our young Filipinos have benefited from the investment of government in their education, consistent with the position of CHED and the position of the President that the best investment you could do or you could give in a country is invest in our young people, and by investing in our young people, you invest in the future of our country. So habang iniintay natin itong project na ito, madami ng mga beneficiaries ng free higher ed ang gumawa ng kanilang mga maiiksing video, mga 1-minute video through competitions. Many others have made videos of how free higher ed have changed their lives, initiated through their schools. And the schools themselves have made videos of how the program has been implemented successfully and have shown this not just in their schools, but also shared this through social media to other higher education institutions, both public and private. I have seen this myself because I have gone around the country in what I call Padjak, claiming victory for Philippine higher education. And as I went around, I made it a point to visit the homes of our test beneficiaries, to talk to their families, to talk to the beneficiaries, find out how free higher ed have changed their lives. And in going around, my office has also done short videos of my Padjak joining the homes of test beneficiaries. So I have gone all over the country in areas that no CHED chair has ever set foot on. 2 weeks ago, I went to Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi, the first CHED chairman to set foot in Basulta, and the first CHED chairman to ride a bike from Hulo to Indanan and Maimbong, areas that strike fear in the perception of many people. That is beside Patikul, by the way, in Sulu. But areas which you find out when you're there are not only very peaceful, but very beautiful. We need, therefore, to share all of this. Not just the stories of our beneficiaries of free higher ed, but the stories of our local governments helping our educational system, the heroism of our faculty members that are doing their best to implement flexible learning, and also national government officials going on the ground and not only talking with educational stakeholders, but more important, I think Ryan and I have gained a lot of pounds because of the very sumptuous food and the cultural shows that we have watched as we go around. So these 2 projects that we are launching today is going to bring up the level of documentation and professionalization in documenting the success stories of free higher education under the Duterte administration. Itong ating gagawin ay pagkakataon na maipakita at madiskubre ang talento ng ating mga beneficiaries at makatulong na rin sa pagtataguyod ng libreng edukasyon sa bansa. We have to share the success stories. We have to document how the Duterte administration programs have changed the lives not just of our students, but the community around them. Ryan and I in Sulu went to the area where the MNLF still has camps and sat down with two beneficiaries together with the MNLF commander on the ground. We sat down and discussed how TES has changed their lives. And what is really heartwarming in our activity is the community itself sees and believes that national government cares about their lives. And it also allows us to correct whatever problems may have been encountered in the implementation of programs in very far-flung communities. But those are things that only I, Edi Ryan, and the CHED and UniFAST staff in our regional office, experience. We need now to bring these stories to the rest of the country and, more important, to the rest of the world. So our partnership with FDCP, therefore, is very critical. Although, as I said, I wish this was done earlier. So, dapat ngayon may produkto na tayo. Sana naman yung mga produkto nito ay mailabas natin bago matapos ang Duterte administration. So with our partnership with FDCP, the students will be given a formal platform and guidance by our experts and well-known professionals from the film industry and the field of digital media. What they have produced is already good. Imagine how much it will improve and become brilliant works if they're assisted by our experts. So this is a one-of-a-kind opportunity tailored to help our students. Siguro isama na rin natin dito, Chair Liza, pati yung mga faculty members na interesado sa mga SUCs, documenting also the program. So this is a one-of-a-kind opportunity tailored to help the target individuals in a field where knowledge is everything. This is also one of the extraordinary initiatives of CHED to help our beneficiaries who are aspiring filmmakers beyond the assistance that we are giving now for them to complete their education. And the CineIskool and My Kwentong UniFAST projects will be of great help to us at CHED and UniFAST, not only to spread awareness about RA 10931, but to make sure that the gains we have achieved in free higher education will be continued and sustained by our next administration. Because if we are able to show that we've done a good job, if hundreds of thousands of students will testify that the program has changed their lives, I do not see any political leader in the future turning their back on the program after they watch and listen to the testimonies and stories of our beneficiaries. We are therefore excited to give this once-in-a-lifetime chance to provide a film grant to talented young filmmakers and writers out there who have never been given an opportunity to show their creativity through film, either because of lack of funding or lack of assistance, or because the national government has not reached out to help them. Maybe it is because we have not seen the power of information and the power of visualizing our successes. So sa ating mga grantees, inaanyayahan ko kayong lumuhok sa CineIskool at My Kwentong UniFAST upang mapaunlad pa ang inyong galing at maipakita sa iba ang inyong mga kwento. Samantalahin ang pagkakataong matuto kasama ang mga batikan sa larangan na ito upang higit pa ninyong makilala ang sarili at ibang kapwa grantees. Ang inyong mga kwento ay patunay ng tagumpay. Hindi lamang ng komisyon, hindi lamang ng Pangulong Duterte, kundi tagumpay ng buong bayan. Magmula nung ipinatupad natin ang free higher education. At tiyak na sa pamamagitan ng inyong mga visual presentation ay mas marami pang makakaalam ng ating mga programa patungkol sa libreng edukasyon, madami pang maniniwala na ang kanilang mga panaginip pagka sila'y nagpursige, sila'y magtatagumpay. Let me take this opportunity to again thank FDCP for their hard work and collaboration for the benefit of the Filipino people. We will be working with you for the whole duration of these projects, and I look forward, hopefully, that before the Duterte administration ends, meron na tayong produktong ipagmamalaki sa buong bayan. Thank you, FDCP. Maraming salamat. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat.
Thank you, Chairman De Vera. It also serves as an invitation to our student beneficiaries to join once we start to announce the call for entries. Si Chairman Popoy po ang aming pinaka-aktibong promoter ng UniFAST programs. We can literally say that he is the staunchest advocate of free higher education, for he has traveled miles and miles biking around the country to show us the successes of this government program for the Filipino people. And now, to hear the message from our next speaker and the CHED UniFAST partner, let me give you a brief introduction. Ms. Liza Diño is the Chairperson and CEO of the Film and Development Council of the Philippines, the agency in charge to develop the local film industry and promote it for global collaboration and growth. She is also an award-winning film, TV, and stage actress who has appeared in numerous independent and commercial films. As chairperson and CEO, she is hard at work in promoting the country's film expert services, creating more opportunities for the Philippine cinema to be exposed to the world, and developing policies for the growth of the film and audiovisual industry. She is a member of the board of directors of the Asian Film Commissions Network and an active collaborator in the ASEAN Republic of Korea Film Organization and the BPX, or the Best Practice Exchange, which is an initiative that brings together heads of film agencies from around the world to brainstorm on the best practice and public funding or for filmmaking. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Chairperson Mary Liza Diño.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. It's nice to see you, Honorable Chairman J. Prospero E. de Vera III of the Commission on Higher Education and, of course, the UniFAST board, albeit virtually. It was, it brings me back to that one fine day when we met to discuss this project. Of course, Attorney Ryan Estevez, UniFAST OIC and Executive Director, our colleagues in government and friends from the entertainment press. This is Undersecretary Liza Diño of the FDCP. Finally, welcoming you all to the launch of My Kwentong UniFAST and the CineIskool Short Film Lab. Sabi nga po ni Chair Popoy, as I fondly call him, as we all fondly call him, it was one day that he just randomly called me and said, Liza, I think we have to partner on this vision of mine. It was my very first time to actually go to the CHED office, and I was led to the office of the chair, and that's where we discussed his vision of how he would like the beneficiaries of the beneficiaries of the free tertiary education to tell their stories on how this program has really supported them and has actually changed their lives. I wasn't aware myself that it has reached that far na umabot na sa more than 1 million ang nakapag-benefit dito sa programang ito. And as a student myself in college sa University of the Philippines, if this were to happen back then, I would have been a beneficiary myself. So how can you not, support in championing this vision of him to not just spread the word, but to actually make the beneficiaries as ambassadors of how free tertiary education can be beneficial to all. So all he had was an end goal. Liza, this has to be very young. It has to reach the young. Kailangan vlogging siya. Nakikita ko na, kinukwento nila yung nangyayari sa kanila sa araw-araw. And then, of course, the other side of that is an elevated narrative of their stories. Paano natin maikukwento yung kanilang journey into being part of this free tertiary education and actually achieving their dreams because of that opportunity. Na, if this is not available and if this program does not exist, hindi nila mararating at hindi nila matutupad ang kanilang mga pangarap. So immediately after that meeting, we got to work. And after an exchange with the people from UniFAST, Miss Presi Chan and the entire team, talagang binigay niya sa akin yung buong team para mag-collaborate kami. I brought my own development support division to brainstorm and come up with the best representation and the best mechanism for us to fulfill and execute this vision. Of course, my Kwentong UniFAST and CineIskool Short Film Lab were born. These two projects are under the Unified Student Financial System for Tertiary Education, or UniFAST. This is a division of the Commission on Higher Education in partnership, of course, with the FDCP, with the goal of acquainting students and the young with the Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education Act. We all know, and even in the FDCP, development, Film Development Council of the Philippines, development is key, and development is education. Knowledge is power. And this is one of the tenets of what we do in the FDCP. So it was like a marriage waiting to happen. And we're happy that we're finally here. We are aware of how this medium can really have the power to impart information, opinion, and perception. Accordingly, we know the responsibility that lies behind this power. And it is this truth that powers this partnership. So we want to have a very different approach, with the two programs. My Kwentong UniFAST is something that will be available to any beneficiary of the program. It's a vlogging. We want to inspire them to tell their stories to vlogging. There's going to be a website that would allow for them to upload their stories, their everyday lives. And what better way to do that than to prepare and actually give webinars on how to vlog, how to create this new media content, how do we access the social media platforms for them to tell their stories in a way that is palatable and accessible to the young. You want TikTok, you want Instagram, you want these new platforms that will be very, very interesting na mapanood ng mga kabataan. At kailangan natin gumamit ng mga device. Kailangan natin gumamit ng mga bagong tools na attractive sa mga kabataan. So, My Kwentong UniFAST is all about that. We're going to bring in these influencers para mag-give back. Para mag-inspire sa mga estudyante natin at turuan sila na paano din sila magiging vlogger, paano rin sila magiging influencer in a good way, in a way that will inspire others to take advantage of this wonderful program. So that's what we did in the program that is My Kwentong UniFAST. It's telling unique stories about learning outside of physical schools. This could be a great alternative platform for these artistic expressions. So now we go to the CineIskool Short Film Lab. So ito naman, this is going to be a film that would, I would say, encapsulate the journey of our beneficiaries. Ano yung kanilang kwento, i-storyfy natin, i-humanize natin yung kanilang experience of being able to have access to studying. I mean, all of us, alam natin, ako especially, my own story on how, studying in UP has really helped me to where I am now as a public servant. I never thought I would actually get here. And siguro kung hindi ako nag-aral sa UP, hindi rin ganon yung magiging perspektibo ko, yung magiging preparasyon ko para sa trabahong ito, because I was in a completely different field, before I was given this opportunity to serve in government. So we want that. We want those kinds of stories. And I believe that before we come up with that kind of narrative, we need to equip our filmmakers with the tools para mas makapagkwento sila in a way na maiintindihan nila yung lengguwahe ng cinema. Paano nila gagamitin ng cinema, paano nila gagamitin ng language of film para maikwento ang kanilang mga naratibo. And this is what CineIskool Short Film Lab is about. It's a lab and a short film competition. The goal is to show the products of these workshops. We will have production management workshop, story development workshop, technical intensive online film lab, safe filming lab, and editing lab, meaning talagang mag-aaral sila. It's a crash course on filmmaking. So they're actually learning a new skill, learning a new process, and actually probably entering also this field, this art of filmmaking that would allow them to not just tell their stories about how they benefited from the free tertiary education, but other things or other stories that they feel can represent their voice. So and ang gusto natin is hindi lang siya parang kwentong pag pinanood, so ito yung story. No, this can be something that can actually travel. These narratives is something that can actually compete in festivals as well. Gusto natin na yung end goal natin is makwento at maipalabas natin sa pinakamaraming tao. And FDCP has a network of not just local but international platforms to actually showcase these content. This festival will showcase the films coming from this crop, and hopefully through these films, young audiences will fully appreciate the advantages of the various programs of the Education Commission and what CHED offers to the Filipino youth. During this time of pandemic, much effort will be put instilling in our participants a culture of safe filming as well. So, nung nag-usap kami ni Chair dito, wala pong pandemic. So, ang dami natin kailangang i-put into place na mga protocols at to make sure that we're keeping everyone safe while they're conducting their production shoots. I am very, very excited. Mahaba ang pinagdaanan ng buong team. Kaya thank you also, ED Ryan, sa pag-champion at sa pag-push. Ilang presentations tayo sa board. And that's to see this coming into fruition at mag-umpisa na talaga tayo. This is, we're happy for this partnership, and I look forward to more with CHED. Thank you so much po for the trust and for making us part of this noble endeavor. Thank you to our friends from the press who will help us, again, as usual, get the word out about these important activities. We are all gladly doing our part in making Philippines a strong nation, well-equipped to grow into outstanding citizens, to hurdle over challenges that may overcome. And tama po ang sinasabi ni Chair, kailangan nating ikwento ang success ng administrasyong ito because we have to give where credit is due. And this free tertiary education is no joke. It involves, it's a big budget that was allocated just to provide free education for all. So together, let us go higher with higher education. Let's go to CineIskool to learn the rule, to UniFAST forward to brighter days and successful lives through the educational power of cinema. Maraming salamat din sa aming team, to Ms. Wilma Esleta, our FDCP's Division Manager of the Development Support Division, of course, Gila Serna, our Unit Manager, and Ali, who is actually a beneficiary of the free tertiary education. Actually, sa kanya ako kumuha ng lahat ng feedback on how this has benefited her. So sabi ko, ay, ikaw ang gagawin kong example kung paano natin ikukwento ito. So lahat ito, it all came together into this two beautiful projects na finally maumpisahan na natin. And I promise you, Chair Popoy, this will be screened and this will happen before the Duterte administration ends. So this has to be celebrated and we're here to support you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chairperson Liza Diño. May I call on Ms. Wilma Esleta, the Division Manager of the Development Support Division of FDCP, to discuss the work of the division.
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Wilma Esleta, Division Manager of the Development Support Division of the Film Development Council of the Philippines. Ang activities po ng partnership na ito between FDCP and the CHED and UniFAST will be spearheaded by the FDCP's Development Support Division. Ang Development Support Division po ng FDCP is the division in charge of implementing support programs that will upkeep film projects under its project development unit. Ang unit po na ito, the unit focuses on Filipino filmmakers with film projects from ideas, concept to developing and improving the scripts, treatment, pitching with international and local mentors, moving to film production, getting into partnerships, and then acquiring distribution. The division also upkeep film talents. Next slide, please. Also upkeep film talents under its talent development unit. The unit focuses on developing the filmmaking skills of aspiring and practicing professional Filipino filmmakers by honing their talents and equipping them with the education they need to advance their career in film and become industry ready in both the local and the international landscape. With all these key units set, the Film Development Council of the Philippines is ready to implement the partnership with the Commission on Higher Education and the Unified Student Financial System for Tertiary Education for the conduct of the first ever CineIskool Film Lab and Festival and the My Kwentong UniFAST webinar, which is, sabi nga po ni Chair Popoy at saka ni Chair Liza, long overdue na dahil last 2019 pa, sinimulan na natin yung pag-uusap tungkol dito at na-immobilize lang yung plano because of the COVID-19. But we cannot let this adversity hinder us in discovering the immense potential of the beneficiaries, thus adopting an online platform to continuously provide education and opportunities to each of our beneficiaries waiting to be honed. So, to give an overview of the two projects, I would like to turn over the screen to Ms. Gila Serna, Unit Manager of our Project Development Unit. Ms. G.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wee. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for being here with us today. My name is G from FDCP, and it is my pleasure to further discuss with you the two projects that we'll be organizing for our students. Okay, so first we have hashtag My Kwentong UniFAST webinar and the CineIskool Short Film Lab Festival. So for hashtag My Kwentong UniFAST webinar, we will be working hand in hand with CHED and UniFAST to create an online webinar for colleges and universities throughout the Philippines on vlogging and creating new media content. So for our goal and our objective for this project is to set to teach the students on creating digital media content and giving them a platform to share and highlight their experiences and stories with regards to being recipients of UniFAST. So with this po, we are equipping students to be advocates of pursuing higher education. So for this project, we will be having two components. So first is a vlogging webinar series and a vlog portal. So for the vlogging webinar series, we have four topics to cover po dito. So first, we have creating an audience through vlogging. Second is how to create an engaging content. Third is equipment essentials for your vlogs, and of course, editing your content. So through this webinar series, students are set to learn how to tell a story through vlogging and mold them to be ambassadors of UniFAST. So for us naman po sa FDCP, we will be inviting vloggers and experts to give out lectures in a webinar series. So two webinars would each be conducted in Metro Manila, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So in partnership with UniFAST, they will be choosing the participating schools and locations for the CHED program. Next, we have the vlog portal. So this portal can be accessed through CHED's website and will feature the vlogs that will be created from the webinar series. So going back to our goal, so this program aims to provide nga po a platform to our recipients of UniFAST to create a digital media content that would allow them to share and highlight their experiences and stories and be advocates of pursuing higher education. So for our next program, we have CineIskool Short Film Lab and Festival. So this program, in partnership with CHED and UniFAST, in shedding light into the Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education Act. So FDCP together with CHED and UniFAST will be working hand in hand with them to pursue our objectives for this program. Next slide. So here are our objectives for the program. First, to inspire the youth on the merits of pursuing higher education by sharing real stories and narratives made by their contemporaries. Next, to provide a platform that enables talents to create and produce short films that highlight the various stories of UniFAST beneficiaries. Next, to introduce young students around the country to the art and basics of filmmaking process and encourage them to utilize the modern and digital platforms of sharing stories and contents. And lastly, to present a visual showcase of diverse stories, which gives the different voices in the community the opportunity to highlight the importance and benefit of free tertiary education. So this program aims to produce and showcase films that will inspire the youth to take advantage of different education assistance programs put together by the government for the youth's empowerment. So for this program naman po, it will be composed of two components. First, we have the short film lab. Next slide, please. So for our eligibility, so yung competition po natin is open to all students who are currently enrolled and are recipients of Universal Access to Quality Free Education Act. So we are encouraging submissions from Luzon, NCR, Visayas, and Mindanao. Next slide. So moving forward, 10 projects will be chosen through a pool of applications, and then mamimili po tayo doon ng 10 projects that will be given a total of 125,000 peso grant for the production of their films and for the safe filming protocols to produce their 5-minute short film. So each of the projects shall undergo intensive online film labs that would help develop their skills in story development, editing technicalities, and other elements of filmmaking. So for our short film labs po, we have the production management lab. So for this lab, the participants will be taught on the basics of management, ranging from tasking to budget allocation and handling, which is very essential in the process of filmmaking. And then we have a story development lab. So we will be inviting directors and writers from the industry to equip the finalists with the necessary tools and information they need to create truthful and insightful narratives that will translate into inspiring films. So this lab po will have a lecture and then a separate mentoring for each finalist and their project. So dito po natin i-develop yung kanilang mga scripts and their treatments. And then next we have technical intensive online film lab. So after the story development lab, there will be a technical intensive lab where the finalists will be taught by experts on handling technical equipment during shoot. So yung mga experts po natin will talk about handling cameras, audio equipment. So it will also touch on the basics of film editing. So with this, we are assured that the films that will be produced are of good quality and ready for screening and distribution after nung festival natin. So we also have Safe Filming Lab. So Safe Filming Lab po, the FDCP has a Safe Filming program, which is a program in partnership with Department of Health and the Department of Labor and Employment, which outlines the principles of safe production in this pandemic. So for this specific film lab naman po, we will focus on the health and safety protocols for the conduct of film and audiovisual production shoots and audiovisual activities during this pandemic. So, of course, all participants are required to undergo this lab to comply with the new normal setting and ensuring a safe working environment amidst the pandemic. And lastly, of course, we have the editing lab. So for this lab, we'll be having one-on-one session with the industry experts. So the finalists will bring the rough cut of their films and will be criticized and mentored for the betterment of their project. So the 2-day workshop ensures that there is a progress for their project. So after po nung film lab na ito, they will be given ample time to polish their works and will be subject to submission in preparation for the screening and awards night, which leads me to the next component of the project, which is the festival. So for the festival, for the concluding event of CineIskool, a short film festival would commence. So a short film festival will be a momentous event where the produced films will have its theatrical release. The screening will take place in a cinema, hopefully next year. We're hoping for that. And it will have a program composed of panel discussions, presentations, and awards night, of course. So the produced films can also be screened in the agency's social media accounts and across the Cinematheque centers nationwide. So next, for the festival mechanics for CineIskool, we have the following mechanics po. So of course, total running time. So yun po, as mentioned earlier, we're opening this competition to the recipients of Universal Access to Quality Free Education Act. And then open for our script writer director pairs with real stories to share of the currently enrolled recipients of quality free education. So for this, kaya kailangan po nilang send mga documents for them to be qualified sa ating program. So the proponent and the owner of the story must be the writer or the director of the team. So entries must be in documentary or narrative form. Animation and experimental films will not be accepted for this specific program. So for the total running time naman po ng pelikula natin, so as mentioned earlier, it's going to be 5 minutes in total. So the completed film output must have its premiere during the CineIskool Short Film Festival to be held in 2022. So there. So next slide, please. Ayan. So, of course, the official announcement for call for participants and projects for my Kwentong UniFAST and webinar. And the CineIskool Short Film Lab and Festival will be announced in October 2021. So, kindly stay tuned lang po sa ating lahat sa pages po ng FDCP and CHED UniFAST for updates. So we're very excited for this wonderful partnership, and finally it's happening, and we're looking forward to your continuous support as we launch these two programs. And with this, we prepared a short video on our program. So let us all watch this.
Thank you very much, Chairperson Diño, for your message. Thank you very much to Ms. Wilma and Ms. G for your presentations. That video officially launches the projects that we will be having in partnership with FDCP. To our media friends, we will give you the chance to ask questions in our press conference that will follow shortly after this closing message from our next speaker. Ms. Ria and Rubia used to serve as a supervisor of the MMDA Twitter and Navigator team, officer in charge of the digital media group, and an overall deputy from 2011 to 2016. Her stint with MMDA also involved being an active member of the Metro Manila Film Festival Secretariat, while at the same time in charge of the implementation of the New Wave section for independent student and animation films. She has been with the Film Development Council of the Philippines since 2017 and is currently the Executive Director 3 of FDCP. Let us all welcome Ms. Ria and Rubia.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for the introduction, Ms. Catherine. To everyone here, I hope that our very, very thorough presentation of the details of our program, CineIskool and My Kwentong UniFAST, was enlightening, and we hope that we will count on your support in getting the word out there. Over the years po talaga with FDCP, we have been witness to the immense potential of young filmmakers of today. They grew up in a digital age where there's TikTok, there's Facebook, there's YouTube Shorts, and that gives them the unique perspective and limitless potential to really be able to tell their stories and create films that we can call films of the next generation. So in our previous programs po, we have partnered with institutions and organizations to really let us allow to tap young talents. And with the successes of these programs po, like Cine Kabataan Short Film Competition, Cine Spectra, Cine Maria, and the Unsang Sariling Bayani, it helped us really develop this program that allows us to support young filmmakers, not just to develop, to learn, to develop their stories, learn more about the elements of filmmaking, finally produce their films, but also gives FDCP the opportunity to showcase their content, distribute them, and even help them help them travel their content locally and internationally. So this time we are very, very happy po talaga that we get to implement this kind of system and approach, this time in partnership with CHED and UniFAST, so we can empower naman this time our tertiary students and the youth and give them the tools and the learnings that they need to produce their films. Because Chair Liza is a firm believer of this, that the stories and the potential that we have from our youth are just ready to be tapped and be molded. So ito po yung nilook forward namin sa partnership po natin ngayon with CHED, with CineIskool and My Kwentong UniFAST. So again, to close this program, on behalf of FDCP, our Chairperson and CEO, Chair Liza, our team from the Development Support and the Project Development Unit, and especially as we celebrate the Philippine Film Industry Month, we are so happy to launch these two programs with them, and we are looking forward to working together more with Chair Popoy, with Edie Ryan, and with Miss Mitzi and Miss Presi to get us to the fruition and the full conduct of these programs. Sa lahat po ng aming mga kaibigan at partners po from the media here, sana po matulungan niyo po kami to get the word out there. And of course, we are counting on the participation of our young filmmakers from the Free Tertiary Education Program to participate in this event. Watch out po sa ating mga guidelines and program announcements by October. And again, maraming salamat po for this opportunity to partner with the Commission on Higher Education. Thank you po, and keep safe to everyone.
Thank you, Edie Rubia, for that message. Let me turn over the floor now to Ms. Cyril Gomez from the Office of CHED and UniFAST Board Chairman Popoy de Vera, who will moderate our press conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Kath. Welcome to the final portion of our program, the press conference. So still joining us, of course, our CHED Chairman Popoy de Vera, our FDCP Chairperson Mary Liza Diño, OIC UniFAST Executive Director Ryan Estevez, and our FDCP Executive Director Ria and Rubia. So before we proceed to the Q&A portion, we would also like to acknowledge our media friends from the following media outlets who are joining us now. We have GMA News, PTV4, ABS-CBN News, Offcam, Lifestyle Magazine, Manila Bulletin Lifestyle, Lifestyle Asia, Philippine Star, Adobo Magazine, Philippine Daily Inquirer, Rappler, The Daily Tribune, Inquirer, Sunstar Davao, Business Mirror, TMP, Pelikula Mania, Astig.ph, Showbiz Republica, My Movie World, Manila Times, BYX Peaks, Randomly Candid Iloilo Lifestyle Blog, and also, of course, we have our bloggers joining us today. So to our media friends or bloggers who are joining us via Zoom, please ensure that your cameras are turned on and your microphones are turned off to avoid disrupting the speaker. So you may send your questions in the chat box, or you may click the raise hand button if you want to directly ask the question. Please also mention your name, followed by your media outlet before asking your question. So some of our media friends have already sent their questions. I think ABS-CBN has sent her question. How timely is the CHED FDCP partnership? What experiences can participants gain from this that may be useful to their future careers? So, Chair?
I'll start. Actually, sabi ko nga kanina, overdue. Kasi when I thought about this and I talked with Chair Liza, I was anticipating that the output would come at the end of the Duterte administration. Parang report to the nation na ito. Kasi it is better that the beneficiaries speak about it. Kasi mahirap kung yung implemento ang tatanungin nyo, baka sabihin, nagbubuhat ng bangko. But it's really the beneficiaries of government programs who should be allowed to speak out, to tell their experience. They will be the ones to say whether government has helped them, whether the program was correctly implemented, and what are their experiences, how it changed their lives. So when I thought about this before COVID, I was anticipating that the first products will come just in time for the first batch of graduates of free higher ed. Pero tinamaan tayo ng COVID kaya medyo na-delay ng konti. Pero hindi pa naman huli. But the ones who will benefit from this are those who want to tell their story. Kaya open competition ito. Kung sino yung interesado, siyang gumawa ng kwento. That's basically what will happen. And we rely on the experts to help. Kasi walang capability ang CHED to do that. But it's our colleagues from the FDCP that can help, and the practitioners can be the ones to help our students tell their stories.
Thank you, Chair. Would anyone like to answer that question pa po? Okay, I'll read the next question po from Mr. Danny Vibas. Kung may makukuha po ba kayong professional actor, yung tipong nasa showbiz na raw po, is that allowed? Sige po, maybe.
Well, we empower our filmmakers to actually create their own crew and casting for the film that they're going to create. So, of course, you know, if it would be beneficial for the film to actually have actors from the industry to be part of the film, why not? Diba? Basta kung kaya ng FDCP to help them reach out to these actors, then we will. But isa sa mga tinuturo natin sa workshop and sa lab is yung how to actually put together a cast who's going to work and be part of the film. Kasi lahat ng mga filmmakers na yan, meron silang budget. You know, so kasama sa budgeting yung pag-hire nila ng mga taong bubuo doon sa team nila at magre-realize, you know, to help them realize their stories and make it come to life. So yun. But we're open.
Right, okay pa. Next question from Manila Times. How many participants are CHED and FDCP expecting for each of the program? May limit po ba yun sa number of participants?
Yung vlogging, ang unang plan namin dyan, nung hindi pa siya online, was to actually activate the different colleges and universities all over the Philippines. It was supposed to be done sa mga HUCs, pero because of the pandemic, kailangan natin siya, we have to take it virtually, we have to take it online. But I think the benefit there is that it will reach a bigger audience. With our last partnership, meron kaming partnership with Department of Education. Umabot po ng 7,000 yung naging participants ng mga webinars namin. So I am not going to be, I actually hope that yung ating webinar series would reach as far as this number as well, because I know kung gaano po kalaki ang network ng CHED and yung kanilang ability to cascade, you know, this opportunity to all the students nationwide.
Well, ang may dagdag ko lang, knowing how our students are so active in social media now, yung age group na yun is the most active in using technology. So I anticipate there will be a deluge of participants because number one, they are very familiar with technology. They spend a lot of time on social media, so I am sure they know and watch what others are doing. Number three, madami sa kanila nag-vlog na rin kasi yung mga iba depende sa mga ginagawa, nagbibisikleta, nag-aayos, nagtitinda, no? Ang daming activities ginagawa ng kabataan ngayon online. I am sure many of them will be interested to do it. And I suppose, kasi pag may blood ka later doon, you can earn from it also. So I think that is also a factor. Kung mas maganda yung pagkakagawa mo, paglagay mo istorya, madaming, I am sure there's a lot of participants.
Thank you, Chair and Ma'am Liza. So follow-up question lang po from Manila Times. Given the ongoing pandemic, what are the plans of CHED and FDCP to reach out to students, especially those with limited internet connectivity?
Ako, ang tingin ko dito, pwede kasing yung mga talk tsaka yung mga lecture, pwedeng i-load yan on the on YouTube, online, well, even in areas where there is weak connectivity, you can download it on your phone and watch it asynchronously. I think the ones that will be affected is during the conduct of the exercise itself, because it will probably be done synchronously, so there will be a problem in areas where the internet connection is quite weak. But if we load that later on online and can be watched at the pleasure of the students or can be downloaded on their phone, hindi naman magiging reason why they cannot learn from it. If it is download it and watch it on their own time.
Yeah, supporting lang Chair's vision, no, or yung sa kanyang yung kanyang statement. Yes, we both have our own social media platforms that would allow for us to upload the pre-recorded webinar after the conduct, no? So i-record yan and then i-upload natin, and it will be available a period of time para even if they were able to make it. Ang activity kasi during the virtual webinars, there will be live Q&A happening, and they can actually have the chance to talk to, you know, the mentors, the speakers, may intern sila sa chat group, sa chat. Because na talagang parang sanay na sanay yung mga kabataan each other sa chat, you know, yung mga little reactions na good afternoon po sa inyong lahat, sige magsi-CR break lang po. I mean, it's all reflected in this chat. So that's kind of like how the lack of face-to-face is replaced kahit papaano. So we look forward to that. Pero I said this will be available to our YouTube channel and even probably the CHED's channel after these workshops are conducted. ED Ryan, you wanna say something doon sa mga platforms ninyo siguro na pwedeng pag-upload na ng ating mga content?
I think I agree with Chair and Liza, no? Yan na rin kasi yung ginagawa natin at ini-encourage natin sa Commission on Higher Education. So, I would have to really agree with Chair and Ma'am Liza.
Ayan, thank you very much to our speakers. So next question po from astig.ph. Congratulations to CHED, UniFAST, CineIskool, and FDCP for this project. Is the program open sa lahat ng tertiary students regardless of their academic courses? Meaning it's open not just sa mass comm or filmmaking students?
Well, it's open to everyone. But I think the ones who will be most interested to participate are those that are part of the 1.6 million students who are not paying tuition and miscellaneous fees, and those that are receiving tulong-dunong and test. Kasi paano may kwikwento yung pagbabago ng buhay mo kung hindi ka beneficiary ng program? So I am sure those who will be most attracted are those who have a story to tell. But I think because this will be done online, even those who do not have a story to tell can listen to the presentations, can participate. Pero doon sa mismong competition, napipili nung, ilan ba pipiliin? 10 yata na pipiliin na meron silang storyline kung paano nabago ang buhay nila. Of course, the ones who will compete for that are those who have a story to tell. Meaning, if you did not benefit from free higher ed, it did not change your life, syempre, hindi ka mananalo doon sa competition kasi it is about how it changed your life. So, but for the general understanding of vlogging, filmmaking, because this will be done online, I am sure everyone can listen, can participate, they can benefit from it for all the students in higher education.
Thank you, Chair. I think that also clarifies yung question po ni Mr. Danny Vivas na kahit freshman lang po, pwedeng sumali doon sa contest. Ayan. So,
kasi based on my own experiences with beneficiaries on the ground sa aking pag-ikot, irrelevant kung ilang years ka na nagbe-benefit eh. Kasi for example, there are beneficiaries in some areas na mga bumalik sa eskwelahan, mga tumigil, naging domestic helper ng 10 taon sa Hong Kong. Nung nalamang libre na ang higher ed pagbalik, hindi na bumalik mag-domestic helper, nag-aral na. So you don't have to experience 3 or 4 years of pre-higher ed for your life to change. Just the fact that you decided to come back and earn a degree because you now see hope in achieving your desired profession is already a story by itself. Hindi naman kailangan 4 na taon ka ng scholar para mabago yung buhay mo. Meron din yung mga tumigil, nagkaroon ng pamilya, nagkaroon ng anak. Meron Ryan yung sa kwan, di ba? Parang 51 years old na, madami siyang anak, bumalik, mag-aral. Kasi sabi niya, I want my children to be proud of me. Istorya yan by itself. O yung pinuntahan namin saan ba yung pinuntahan natin na tatay tsaka 2 anak, sabay-sabay na test beneficiary? Saan ba yun? I don't remember anymore. Sa dami ng inikot ko, sa dami ng kwento eh.
Bukidnon, Mr. Chair.
Bukidnon. Yung tatay, kaklase niya yung anak niya.
Yeah.
Tapos lower year yung isa pang anak. 3 silang test beneficiary. Oo, sabay-sabay. Kasi yung tatay, hindi nakatapos, nagkapamilya, nagtrabaho. Nung nakita niya libre, bumalik siya. Kaklase niya ngayon yung anak niya. Now, you don't have to experience that for 4 years to tell how it changed your life. So, wala namang kailangan freshman ka o senior o junior. Depende kung paano nabago yung buhay mo. So, nagkwentuhan yung mag-ama kasi magkaklase sila. Nagkwentuhan sila.
Actually, Mr. Chair, di ba yung mother will also, I think to this coming year. Yes. So, bali magiging 4 na sila.
Yeah. Meron din yung isa, yung sa Basilan, yung panito, Badyaw. Yes. Nung nakatapos na siya, yung asawa naman niya ang pag-aaralin niya. Kasi nakatapos na siya, may degree na siya, pwede na siya magtrabaho. Kikita na siya ng mas mabuti. Siya na naman mag-aalaga doon sa anak nila. Sabi niya, ako naman mag-aalaga sa anak, o yung asawa ko naman ang mag-aaral. So, depende sa experience kasi ng mga beneficiary. So, hindi kailangan yung number of years na nakinabang ka. Na-check ko lang na this year, yung mga unang nakinabang ng free higher ed, the freshman, nakatapos na this year. Pero yung mga nakakuha ng free higher ed in the middle, graduate na yung mga yan. Yung mga bumalik, iba din yung experience nila.
All right. Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you, Attorney Ryan. So next question po from Alex sa normal na face-to-face schooling ng mga students kasi maraming estudyante ang nagkakaroon daw po ng mental health problems dahil po sa pandemic. For Chair.
Yeah, unti-unti nating binabalik ang mga estudyante. last January, inapprove na ni Pangulong Duterte na magli-limited face-to-face yung mga estudyante sa medicine and allied health sciences. So as of now, more than 100 universities have been inspected and authorized to have a limited face-to-face. So kino-combine nila yung online at saka face-to-face. Last week, I went to the IATF. Sabi ko, baka pwedeng i-expand na to include engineering, maritime, and HRM. And the IATF endorsed it already to the President. Kasi doon sa first batch of schools na nag-limited face-to-face, infection was very, very low. No deaths. All those who got sick, gumaling. Trinak natin, parang 0.03 of the students got infected. That means our guidelines are working. The health protocols are being observed. That's why the schools are safe. Now we want it expanded to other degree programs that need hands-on experience. So unti-unti, we have to be very careful because we want to protect the health of our students and faculty. Pero dadating tayo dyan. So wag ho kayo mag-alala. Nasimulan na natin, nagkakaroon na ng limited face-to-face. We're expecting more students and more schools to open if the President adopts the endorsement of the IATF.
Okay, thank you very much, Chairman. I think at this point we have no more questions from the media. So thank you to the Film Development Council of the Philippines, to our stakeholders, public and private higher education institutions, parents and families of our FHE beneficiaries and TES grantees, students, and of course our fellow Filipinos and the youth from all over the Philippines who are watching us right now, to those who believe in the importance of tertiary education to nation building. So keep yourself posted on updates on our Facebook pages at phched.gov.ph, at UniFAST Official, and at FDCP.ph. So this ends our program for today. Thank you to my co-host, Kath Atienza. Once again, I'm Zyril Gomez, Media Relations Officer of CHED. Magandang araw at mabuhay po tayong lahat.